Hello everybody, this is Desmond520, and today I'll be doing another episode of my Battlefield 4 Progression Series Loadouts. Today we'll be doing the Recon starter setup, and this will be for, mind you, not very great players, so this build is meant to be much more appealing to the casual audience and not as much the competitive audience for this, at least for the starting ones. So yeah, let's get into it. So, the way you can decide to go with the Recon class are one of two ways. You can go all in on sniping, or you can go all in on intel. For the sake of ease of use and the fact that I would say it's probably the easiest way for most players to go, we're going to be going with the intel route and going a bit more aggressive. So what that means, if you want a sniping loadout, that will be on the way, but this is just for a beginner's loadout. So, for your starting weapons, you get one of two. You can get two weapons within, like, your first 15 minutes of playing if you're any bit intelligent with a Recon. Although I do recommend using getting the engineer up first so you can get that carbine, so you can use that to level up a little bit before you use the spec, if you can't. Either way. The two weapons you get early access to are the SLR4, which is a bolt-action rifle, and within leveling up the Recon class to the second tier, you will get the RFB DMR. Now, what is the RFB? The RFB is a 3-shot kill DMR, and that will be the basis for our loadout today. So, without further ado, let's get right into the loadouts, shall we? Okay, so for our primary weapon, we'll be using the RFB DMR. This is the first DMR you unlock. And overall, this weapon is actually not as great as people or it's not as bad as people may think it is, but it does take a bit more, I guess, work to use. Overall, though, the biggest issue with this weapon is getting it through the first 40 kills. Once you get through 40 kills, the weapon is actually very good. So yeah, let's get into how this weapon functions, stuff like that. So, the RFB is a 46 damage weapon that drops out at 35 damage, I believe, at long range, meaning that it will always be a 3-shot kill or a 2-shot headshot kill. In close range, you can get one headshot, then get one body shot, and it will be a 2-shot kill. At long ranges, you may need 2 direct headshots. As for its fire rate, it is semi-auto, but its fire rate cap is somewhere around 450 RPM. At least from what I can deduce, mind you. It could be even lower than that, I'm not completely sure. Either way, time to go over the points of this weapon that I want to talk about. Since, well, in the gameplay you can probably tell most of the other stats, but either way. So, as for the main standouts of the RFB is a DMR that has a somewhat slow muzzle velocity, a very, very poor very poor first shot recoil, which means every shot since it's semi-auto, and it has quite a poor player reception because it is considered, or is widely considered, the worst of the DMRs. That is because of the fact that it has a low fire rate, average damage for the class, and it also loses some of the best bits about them, which is their high accuracy and generally good muzzle velocities. So, as for how I want to use this weapon, simply put, you're actually going to just use the first 4 attachments you get for the easy part. So, at 10 kills, you'll get the ACOG, which you will always be running. You always want to run a 4 or 3.4 times scope. If you do get one of the Russian scopes, I would recommend them over the ACOG, but that's just my personal preference. At the end of the day, it is your personal preference. For secondaries, I would run either a laser sight or the canted iron sights. The laser sights actually aren't half bad because the fact is that the weapon is a bullpup, meaning that it gains slightly increased handling stats and a slight hipfire performance bonus. As for the barrel, you are going to be getting the heavy barrel at 40 kills, which you will always run. The heavy barrel will increase your recoil per shot, but it will also increase your bullet velocity and your accuracy while aimed down sights. If you get the flash hider, I would recommend the flash hider over it if you get it from a battle pack. Otherwise, just stick with the heavy barrel. For the grip, you'll be running the angle grip, which you get at 30 kills. The angle grip is essentially just a grip that says your DMRs have less recoil per bullet, because it reduces the first shot kick multiplier, and overall it just reduces the recoil of the weapon due to that. Yeah, I guess let's talk about the secondaries and the gadgets now. So the secondary we'll be running is the P226, standard pistol you start off in the game with. I've already talked about that in my other video, so you guys can probably see why I recommend it from there. As for the gadgets, you can run one of 3 gadgets that you unlock fairly early in the Recon tree. You'll be up until you get to your main stuff, you will want to be running the motion sensors and the C4. Otherwise, once you unlock the radio beacon, you can use any combination of those 3. The motion sensor balls, essentially what they do is you throw them on the ground and they act like a pulsing scan that reveals enemies on the minimap in a small area for a short amount of time. And you have 3 of them on spawn, so they're really, really good if you want to know where you're pushing into. C4 explosives makes pass, destroys vehicles, etc. Just you're running it 90% of the time regardless. And the spawn beacon, which allows teammates and you to spawn on the beacon wherever you place, meaning you can place it in a advantageous position, use it, and then start, raining down hell with your DMR. So yeah, I guess I'll go over the rest of the, the playstyle and so on and so forth. So the playstyle fits Recon in that you are still trying to be in the back and cover fire people, like you're seeing me doing the gameplay here. You're trying to protect your teammates, and give them information while sticking in the back lines and just trying to keep people up. Though, because the RFB does have a 3-shot kill, it can be used in close quarters, as you'll see me do in some of the clips. Otherwise, mainly, like I said, just stick to the back and just continue to keep providing cover fire. In this next section, you'll be seeing me using the bolt action sniper rifle. If you find yourself more akin to using a sniper rifle, the same build effectively does work with a sniper rifle, as you'll see in this gameplay. So don't be discouraged if you do want to use the starting sniper rifle or the second sniper rifle you unlock. This build still works with that as well. But simply put, I want to be a bit more aggressive. As for maximizing XP, this all depends on what build you are running. If you are running the sniper build, going for long-range headshots is very good because you get the marksmanship bonus. But your standard way of getting most of your stuff will be using your C4 to destroy vehicles, getting people to spawn on your spawn beacon, and using your motion detectors to get spot bonuses. That's one of the easiest ways to level up Recon, is just to use the motion sensor balls up until you get the tugs to just keep spotting enemies so people will see it. And as you'll see here, like, I'm throwing them down and then you're seeing little orange blimps pop up on the minimap, and I'm going to start getting motion sensor assists. That's because of the fact that I'm getting them and they are allowing me to get much, much more score than usual. Otherwise, as for potential upgrades, simply put, once you get to the Mark 11, which you see me get in the earlier gameplay, there is a good shot with you to switch to the Mark 11 and level that up. Though its iron sights, in my opinion, are much worse than the RFBs. The weapon itself is just overall strictly better, and I would recommend it. Otherwise, if you want to be even more aggressive, you can trade these out for carbines once you have unlocked more carbines in the engineer class, and then you have started leveling them up. And as for gadget changes, really, simply put, your final gadget set will normally end up looking like spawn beacon C4, so you're really not missing out on much. Mostly we're just running the motion sensors to make it to where you newer players can see, it makes your time easier because now you'll be able to see more targets on the mini-map, and because the fact that it will allow us to, it'll allow the more experienced players to also gain bonus points from throwing them into high traffic areas. Otherwise, hopefully you guys enjoyed me doing this. I actually managed to basically get all the other setups built except for the second support video, so I will actually be doing another set of videos soon. Maybe even another video later today for the Assault and Engineer class starting setups, though those two will have DLC weapons. That is because of the fact that for those that don't know, and I'll go over it once again once I make those videos, once you are level 10, and as long as you have the DLCs, you can start doing the assignments to get these weapons. And the only weapons I'm using are the easiest and the ones that you can get within early on in the trees. If you guys are asking why I don't do that with the Recon and the support, the support does not get a good LMG or a good unlockable weapon until much later in the game, because they need C4 or at the very least a mortar, and the Recon requires you to play specific DLC maps and or get very lucky with your C4s on certain maps. So that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll be seeing you guys all later.